What's up? It's your girl Elijah, and yes, the lie is absolutely necessary, and you are tuned in for another episode of Crazy Crimes Verdict Watch, the Diddy Trial. As you know, today was the 10th day of testimony, and Child Capricorn Clark kept it all the way real. Do you hear me? And I'm not even gonna hold you long, but what I do want to remind you to do is please, please, please like and subscribe, share, and even comment down below. Down below. That's all I need you to do. And if you're feeling real friendly, you can contribute to my Astroglide fund because, baby, baby, you got some glide, you got some lube, need lube. Anyway, child, let's jump right into this. Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark was a former personal assistant to Diddy. She ended up being the global brand director. And then she worked so, and then she was also the creative director for Cassie. And some of her testimony, like a lot of other testimonies, have just basically confirmed what Cassie and other witnesses have stated. Her testimony, in my opinion, was definitely one that was used for the racketeering charges. And just to put that out there, the prosecutors have to prove that Diddy committed at least two crimes within the span of, I believe, 10 years. And so, we already talked about arson. We already talked about force, bribery, so on and so forth. So prostitution, sex trafficking, right? So these are things that have already been established or at least already alluded to. So, this case is very redundant. And when people get on the stand and you don't necessarily think they are going to be a star witness, it's kind of like, oh, here we go again, another day, same old story. But I must say, CC Capricorn Clark, who has been mentioned well over a dozen times within the first 2 weeks of this trial, really, really had us gagged. Do you hear me? She gagged the people. First of all, so let me just go back to where it all started. She started working with Diddy around 2004, if I'm not mistaken. 2004, let me see. That was the year before I graduated high school. I'm showing my age. And on her first day, Diddy took her to Diddy. I'm just setting the stage for this. How you know it was some bullshit from the start, right? On her first day, and this is all alleged. This is what she's testifying to. On her first day, Capricorn Clark stated that Diddy and his security guard took her to Central Park and basically told her that he didn't know that she used to work for Suge Knight. And if anything ever happened, he would have to kill her. This her first day. Usually when you go to work your first day, you ain't even really working. You still setting up your equipment, trying to make sure your email working, trying to make sure at that point in time, people had iPhones. Did people? Yeah, people. Did people have iPhones? What? No, it was Blackberries. Making sure your Blackberries and stuff were working. If they did have iPhones in 2004, it was still not so many people were using them. But didn't hell, let me see. Now I want to know. I gotta look it up. Anyway, you get your electronics together. When did iPhones come out? Damn. I supposed to come out since 2007. So yeah, I was right. She was getting making sure her BlackBerry, the company phone and stuff set up. Hell, she just probably trying to make sure that she even was in the right building. You don't know. And on your first day, your boss, hell, the head honcho, takes you to a park and basically tells you, oh, I didn't know you worked for Suge Knight, but now that I do know, previously she worked for Suge Knight. No, she worked for Def Jam, Suge Knight, and then she found her way to Diddy. Oh, now that I know if something happened, I might have to kill you. What? Sir, do I get some donuts? Do I get some coffee? You telling me you might have to kill me? And she was like, that ain't even got nothing to do with me. Apparently, her friend, one of her friends has a child with Suge Knight. So that's how he became the focal point in that conversation, right? So she testified to a lot of she testified, she spoke to a lot of events that were violent, guns, so on and so forth. So since Kid Cudi just got off the stand, let me go to that because I just like I'm saying, y'all, yo, I don't even, I got so many notes and I barely know where to start. So, but December the 22nd, 2011, between 5:30 and 6 a.m., there was a banging at her door. Boom, 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 boom. So she see Diddy. Um, First of all, we should have known something was wrong with Diddy because the way he had his mohawk didn't look right on him. It didn't look right. It wasn't. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, in 2011, he banging on this girl door and she looking through the peephole, and she said she saw a furious puff, and there was an objection to that. But she looked through the peephole and she saw Diddy pacing back and forth, back and forth. He had on like a sweater, and his pants were torn. She could see his underwear and stuff. Can you imagine a nigga banging on your door with a sweater on? That just made me laugh. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm childish, and it may be stereotypical, but I can't be afraid. I mean, it is the wintertime, and it is New York. For some reason, when I it's just picturing that just made me chuckle like a nigga with a gun and a sweater, like it's kind of like how they say some men don't wear turtlenecks. Either way, that's neither here nor there. Nevertheless, she was saying he was pacing and she saw something in his hand, and so she opened, they were like, did you open the door? And she was like, I did. At this point, you know what I'm saying? This is 2011. She's been upgraded from his assistant to, what was it? I believe, like the global brand director. So at this point, she looking out for the brand. Cause like, what is this nigga doing in front of my door? Right? Beating on my door, pacing back and forth, and it looks like something is in his hand. He boom, 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 boom. So she opened the door and she says he was holding a gun. He came into my apartment and said, why didn't you tell me who is Scott? I said, I don't know any Scott. And Diddy said, we're going to kill this nigga. Now, mind you, Cassie already told us that Diddy found out about Kid Cudi during a freak off. And at that time, they got into it. She went home. He roughed the ass up per usual. The nigga beat her ass all the time, unfortunately. Um, she went home, so I'm assuming, like when I'm putting the events together, he went over to Capricorn's house because Cassie was having a conversation. No, Cassie was emailing Capricorn during the freak off about Kid Cudi, and that's how he found out about it. And so they were asking her, where prosecutors, where was the gun? In his hand. I said, I didn't want to go. He said, I don't give a, if what you want, get dressed. And so she was stating that a guy named Ruben, mentioned also several times this week. And Ruben is D Rock's brother. D Rock is used to also be a security guard for Biggie. D Rock is also someone who Cassie considered to be like a big brother to her, and he was married. And sometimes when her and Diddy got into their little spats, she would go over to D Rock's house. Okay, just because remember, Cassie said that his friends were her friends and they felt like her family, right? So anyway, she said, so they didn't escalate. Then all they escalate. So then it went from slipping and sliding with baby oil and Astroglide to banging on somebody's door, um, trying to figure out who, what, when, where, why, and how with a gun in his hand, right? So now they in the back seat. I about to call the girl Cadillac, Lord have mercy. Capricorn stated that usually Diddy would have gotten in the front seat, the passenger seat. Ruben was driving. Normally Diddy would have gotten in the front seat. But she said this night he wanted to sit in the back seat and then he put the gun in his lap. Okay. So they hold on, where my notes at? Where my notes? 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 Yeah, hold on. For some reason I got a big old gap with my notes. Where my notes at? So they show up to Kid Cudi's house, and when they show up to his house, she says that Ruben and Diddy goes into Kid Cudi's home. And while they are inside, she's in the car. I was left in the car and I called Cassie to let her know what was going on. Diddy came back to the car and took her phone and dialed the number back. So what happened was, while when they got to Kid Cudi's house, Ruben Diddy goes inside his home and they left Capricorn in the car. So she's like, okay, cool. Let me call Cassie real quick. Let me call Cassie real quick. Now, mind you, she's calling Cassie on this burner phone because Diddy paying for everybody's phone. I'm not gonna get caught up like there's not gonna be no trace of me talking to you about this man about Kid Cudi on this man's cellular device that when it's really his. He just paying for it because I work for him, right? Hell, he paying for Cass's phone too. So she calls Kid Cudi and she calls Cassie and Kid Cudi is in the background saying like, "Oh, he at my house. He at my house. He at my house." Right? And she says that she told him that Diddy had a gun. But mind you, Kid Cudi testified last week that he didn't know if Diddy had a gun or not. Just a little side note, okay? Cool. So Diddy came back to the car and she said that the number was saved as Cassie's burner phone. And she was trying to save it real quick, she was trying to change the name real quick, just in case Diddy came back and went through her phone or whatever. But too late. Diddy came back to the phone, came back to the car, and he dialed the number back. He took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cuddy driving up. Mr. Combs saw my face and said, that's that nigga right there. That's that nigga right there. Then we drove off and saw police driving the other way towards Cuddy's house. So what happened was Kid Cudi, and see, Cudi didn't testify to this last week. He left this part out. But Capricorn is saying that um um there go that nigga right there. So they started basically chasing Kid Cudi. But then they lost him. And then that's when they saw the police. And then, they just went on about their business after they saw the police. And so Diddy had ordered her to call Cassie and to tell Cassie, and I quote, Diddy has me and won't let me go until Cassie showed up. Clark picked up Cassie and went to Diddy's house, and he told him to tell Cuddy, do not talk about the break-in. He said, do not talk about the break-in. They went to convince Cuddy to not get the police involved. Um, and so after that, once they got to Diddy's house, Diddy repeatedly kicked Cassie outside after the Cuddy incident. Diddy repeatedly, this is in 2011. Mind you, This is the first break in when he breaks in and he destroys Christmas gifts and so on and so forth. The car situation, when his car got blown up, when his car got blew up with the cocktail, that happened in January 2012, right? So, she said that did it repeatedly kick Cassie outside after the Kid Cudi incident, and nobody was doing anything. She was saying that they were outside and like Diddy's driveway, pretty much, and Kitty kept kicking her, and Cassie was silently crying in fetal position, and he basically told her to get the hell on, right? So then she said that she called Cassie's mother and said, this man um is beating the shit out of your daughter. Yeah, this man is beating the shit out of your daughter. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get my notes. I'm sorry, y'all. My notes kind of not as organized as I as I thought. Um, hold on, let me see. Okay, okay, yeah. So that's that incident. That's the kidnapping incident. In opening testimony, they said that an assistant was kidnapped by Diddy and so on and so forth. So this is the kidnapping situation. The 2011 December Christmas holiday break in, and after all of this, Kid Cudi still went and spent Christmas in Connecticut with Cassie. Okay, so then, because Capricorn worked for Diddy between from 2004 to 2012, and then she returned. Now let's go back. I just want to go back a little bit because what I found interesting about her testimony was that she started working for Diddy back in 2004. She moved to NYC in 2002. They were super platonic friends, and a headhunter said I should work for him as a personal assistant, and I did until 2006. And her duties were to shadow him from the time he wakes up to basically the time he goes to sleep. She was the head of women's Sean John for 1 year, global brand director for Sean Combs. She was responsible for the name and likeness, due diligence, so on and so forth, and to grow the brand. Then she was terminated in 2012, and then in 2016 she returned, right? So what I thought was interesting though was that she said as Diddy's personal assistant, she too had to set up rooms, had to provide baby oil and Astroglide. This is before Cassie. Cassie is not even at this point. Cassie ain't nobody even thinking about Cassie. He probably didn't know Cassie existed at this point. But he still set up rooms with under the alias as Frank Black, and that he had other girlfriends, and he would also set up rooms using their aliases, Jackie Star and Veronica Banga. These are also names that Cassie stated she used when they were setting up freak offs. Capricorn said that she would even go inside of the rooms and would have to clean them up. And she would be there. The freak offs would last. She never said, I don't recall her saying that. I don't recall her saying the term freak offs, but what she was describing seemed like it was the exact same thing that Cassie was describing. This infamous Louis Vuitton medicine bag that allegedly had drugs in it, ecstasy, pills, He also got prescriptions in her name for pills. Diddy had gotten prescriptions in his name quite a few times, so he had to switch it up. Same thing that Cassie testified to. Same thing that George Kaplan testified to. Capricorn stated that they would be there for about 4 days, and while she was there, she would order room service, catch up on sleep because typically she was really working. I mean, she probably got about 4 hours on a good day. She said she got 4 hours of sleep. On the bad day, she would get two. So that's about 20 to 22 hours a day that you're working. She said she wasn't even really able to um take a break. And at one point in time, HR told her that she was owed $80,000 in overtime. She took that to Diddy. She took the information to Diddy, the paperwork to Diddy, and he tore it up, child. Tore it up. But what I find interesting is that she too would go and clean these rooms up. And they were asking her, well, who would be in these rooms? And how often would they be there? She said that Diddy would get a room at least once a week with Kim Porter. And she would collect these items and she would even take a camera, right? And after the festivities or whatever, she would go and clean the rooms up. And there would be baby oil handprints everywhere. Just just Diddy's obsession with baby oil really needs to be studied. I actually have a conversation with a therapist for specifically for this case, and I'm gonna ask her, are people who are addicted to sex or have this type of profile of makeup, are they addicted to lubes and oils and little shit like, because this man's obsession with baby oil started a long time ago. Mind you, Diddy is what, 55 now, 56, 57. Cassie is 38. So, I mean, that's easily about 17 years apart, give or take. So Diddy already been on it. So this lets me know that this just didn't start with Cassie, right? A lot of people in the streets have always said that, and I'm just saying this is what people have said. I'm not saying this is true, but there are unverified claims, and some people seem to think that Kim perhaps may have went through this. And with Capricorn saying that one of the girlfriends that Diddy would get a weekly hotel with would be um, Kim Porter, and she would still have these same items: the drugs, the baby oil, the lube, the camera. Hell, even the camera bag had baby oil and lube in it. One could assume, according to the trend, that there was some type of freaking off and going on. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. That's just all I'm saying. And then she said that he would also get a room with Cassie, eventually. Okay. Now that was interesting. And then it came up about some jury. So 4 months after she started, some jury came up and come to find out it was loaner jury from let me see. It had been given to me. It was a loan. Let me see. Was it Jacob the Jeweler? Jacob the Jeweler. I think that's who it was from. Um, she say, child, she was accused of stealing, and Uncle Polly, which is a security guard and was already named from by Cassie. We saw pictures and stuff. Questioned me for 3 hours, and then they went to her house in Queens, searched her house. Then they took her to 1710 Broadway, a dilapidated building, and Uncle Paulie took her to the sixth floor, and the door was locked behind them. So once they went to the sixth floor, they went into this room, and it was this big 6 foot long table with a heavy set man. And she was describing the men, and she's very descriptive. Like even in her, like her recounting what happened, like she uses. I liked her because I don't need no bleeps. I don't need no substitution of words. I need to know what happened so I can feel like I was there, right? So anyway, she did that real well. So she was like, they were like this, she was describing him. She said he was five of me, two linebackers. He was chain smoking. I was told there was a lie detector test. Yeah, she had to take a lie detector test, and that they would throw me in the East River. So first day of work, Diddy told her allegedly he'd have to kill her if something happened because she used to work for Suge Knight. 4 months later, she's taken into a building after being accused of stealing jewelry, and they are telling her we might have to throw you into the East River if you don't pass, like if this test don't come back in your favor. This 4 months after working for this man. It's too much. And then that was objected to, and then there was a sidebar, little static. Shh. He said to calm down, that he couldn't get a good reading, and he might have to throw me in the East River. So they were drilling it in her mind that, can you imagine? And first of all, when they say lie detector test, I just instantly thought about Jerry Springer or Steve Wilkos or even New York Undercover or some shit. Because can you imagine? This your fourth month. You probably barely know your password at work. And you sitting up here, next thing you know, you think you finna go home and eat you a good little thing of Olive Garden, some Olive Garden pasta. You already not even getting a lot of sleep from this man. But let's just say this, because of this job. Let's just say she got off early that day and she was able to get 4 full hours of sleep. And while she was thinking about going to sleep, she was also thinking about her favorite meal. And she thinking she finna go home and eat her favorite meal. And Uncle Paulie take her home and search her house. Then she turn around and gotta get linked up with wires and stuff for a lie detector test. And they telling her they're gonna throw her in the river. Then they're gonna tell her they're gonna calm her down. And we all know that lie detector test, if you're nervous, it's really not gonna it's gonna throw it off. That's why they're not even admissible in court. That girl say she was there for 5 days, 8 hours a day, could not leave. Uncle Paulie, no. Could you leave? No. Paul said no. We started again, another lie detector test in the same location all day. Were you free to leave? No. I was just trying to survive. I was just trying to survive it. It worked. I worked under an NDA, then another objection, then jury disregard that last statement. And then next thing you know, she returned to work after that week, after giving them 40 hours being tied up to a lie detector test, 8 hours a day. I believe like from around like literally 9 to 6 or 9 to 5 or whatever, 40 hours that week. She go back, Diddy approve it. He get the results. She said every day they will take the results back to Diddy. I guess one day he was like, forget it. Okay, cool. This good enough for me. She go back to work. He don't mention it. She don't even mention it. I mean, he don't mention it to her. So after you doing it, so after you threatened me 2 times, you basically hold me hostage because you're telling me I can't leave. I ain't even got an option to even take this test. Then I show up and you don't even say nothing to me about it. This too much. This her fourth month on the job. And then she was only making what, $65,000, I think. 55,000. She was not even making, she wasn't even making that much money. Baby, to be a personal assistant, to follow somebody all damn day, basically, and get them coffee and da da da. Make sure they got their appointments right. Make sure they, da da da. Getting this little freak out bag ready. You know what I'm saying? So then, she tells the head of what was it? Was he the head of Bad Boy? Harv Pierre. Get what he gonna say. Y'all know how black old be. That's crazy. That's crazy. So then in 2006, they were on Two Star Island. Hold on, let me make sure I got this right. Hold on. Let me see, Two Star Island. Let me make sure I got that right, baby. Because it's somewhere in my notes, but it's taking me too long to get to my notes. Yeah. Two Star Island. It's for the rich people. So it say Diddy is known to own One Star Island Drive and Two Star Island Drive in Miami Beach. Two Star Island Drive has 9 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, and a market value of $36 million. It's a gated community, but also has public roads. So they say Jennifer Lopez also lives on Star Island, Shaquille O'Neal. Members of the public can visit Star Island. It's technically not a private island. You got to go through a security guard if you if you wish to drive through. So basically, this is just an exclusive island for celebrities. Okay. So Pharrell was brought in by boat, and they wanted her to go hang out with them, like for a video shoot or something like that, because she was already there with Diddy. But Diddy told her, whatever she do, don't you leave this house. Well, that nigga was strict. Whatever you do, don't leave this house. She left the house anyway. Diddy Diddy called her and was like, "Hey, where you at? I thought I told you don't. What you doing? I told you don't leave this house. I told you don't leave this house. So why you over there? Why you over there chilling, kicking it? Why you trying to have fun?" She come back to the house. That's what this man told her. That's what this man told her, y'all. I'm putting y'all. She get back to the house after Diddy, basically calling, talking about, yo, 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 where you at? You know what I'm saying? He told, so your problem is you want to have a life. Excuse me? So your problem is you want to have a life. You don't have a life. What brand of drugs? What brand is it? What type? I mean, I hear the kind of drugs this man doing, but what version of the drug is this man doing? Because you really gonna sit up there and say, see, your problem is you want to have a life. Nigga, I am alive, ain't it? He really wanted this woman to sit in the house on Star Island. She can't even get no vitamin D. Imagine your boss telling you trying to put in for days off, and your boss denied and say, see, your problem is you want to have a life. about a menace? Excuse me? Sir, what? Okay. The next morning, she gets up looking for, food. And Chef Jordan and was Lauren London here that day? I don't want to say Lauren was there. I cannot remember if she was or not. Y'all not, no, I don't want nobody to say I said something, so I can't. I know it's in my notes somewhere, but I can't verify. Um, right now I can't find it. Let me see. Anyway, she Capricorn home. So she asked the Chef Jordan, who was actually supposed to testify last week. Not sure why not. Um, asked for turkey bacon. And the chef said, no effing turkey bacon. She said, I hate it here. How about the chef gonna tell Diddy? And Diddy come down and say, if you hate it here, get the F out. If you hate it here, get the F out of here. And he just kept on pushing her. If you hate it here, get the F out of here. If you hate it here, get the F out of here. If you hate it here, can you what? This is over turkey bacon. And I mean, damn. I mean, I don't like turkey bacon, but I like bacon. So maybe, she was already the day before, he already fussing at her like she too. He don't want her to have a life. Now she can't even have a problem with it not being no turkey bacon. Push her down long hallway. If you don't like it here, get the F out of here. If you don't like it here, what? Pushed her all the way outside until the security guard was like, or somebody was like, "Stop, bro! You doing too much." And what I find interesting is like so many people were always around. Like somebody was always around when he was abusing these women, and by the time they said stop, if they said stop, it seemed like at least like from the story they had already been abused for like minutes at this point. So does it even really make a difference? And they was asking, was Diddy violent with other people? Yeah, he was violent with Uncle Paulie, his barber. Diddy, what kind of drugs make people act like that? Oh, Jesus. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Turkey bacon. If you hate it here, get the F out of here. And why would the chef go and even tell Diddy that? Like, what is that to tell? Because the girl wants some turkey bacon? Like, crazy, crazy. Okay. So what else? What other instance do we have? So she was fine on vacation. She said if she um put in her request for leave, she gave Pierre her request, and she was vacationing with Rihanna, honey. And maybe they terminated her because she did not put in her um request. She did not put in her request. So that she was fired on vacation. Oh, this the part where Lauren London was at. Diddy basically told him, her and Lauren, hold on, let me tell you what Diddy told him. Diddy told him, um, This is why y'all don't have a man, or something like that. So basically, he calls Cassie into, I'm gonna just say, calls Cassie into the room, I'm assuming the common area, and was like, "Baby, bring me this, bring this to me." And she brought it. And then he was like, "Okay, go back in the room and just be quiet and sit down for the most part." So basically, "Hey baby, come here, give me that. You dismissed, basically. They gonna say that's why y'all don't have a man." And Capricorn was like, "You mother, because y'all don't do that." She was like, "Oh, you motherfucking right." So like, this, so he just basically proved how Cassie was a robot for him, and how he could tell her to stand up, sit down, make look, do this, do that, do that, do that. Okay, go back and sit down. You dismissed, and she'll do it. And even when she was testifying, that's what it really sounded like. Sean liked this, so I did it because he liked it. Sean said this. Sean instructed us to do this, and baby, that's too much. That's too much. That's just too much. And Lauren London also came up again because when um Kid Cudi, excuse me, when they pulled up to Kid Cudi's house, she called Lauren London because she was scared and she wanted somebody to know where the hell she was. And they were trying to trip her up on if she called Lauren London, if she didn't call her, but they did not. I mean, the defense really didn't have no leeway with old girl today. She was saying that she was scared of mountain lions, and Agnifilo did the cross, and he was basically like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And she was like, "Have you ever been, to LA, like to whatever Hollywood, or the Valley, or whatever?" She said, basically, "Have you ever been to that spot? Like, it's a lot of mountain lions, basically, or whatever." Um, Let me see. So, 2012, she was wrongfully terminated, and she received a settlement from Diddy. And part of the settlement was he paid her an undisclosed amount. She was about to tell us how much, but it got objected to. Um, and so we don't know how much she got, but a part of that settlement was that they would not say nasty comments publicly about one another, and he would write a letter of recommendation for her. He never wrote a letter of recommendation for her. She stated that she was blacklisted, even though, if I'm not mistaken, the judge struck that. So the jury, it's so amazing how they really want the jury just to be like, "Oh, yeah, like you to hear that. What? How am I supposed to unhear that?" But whatever. So, she tried to get another job. She had got a job with Chris Lighty, who at one point in time, I believe, managed Diddy, if I'm not mistaken. But he ended up dying the day before um she even started. So that didn't work out. And then she thought she was going to Interscope Records to get a job or have a meeting about a job, but they were basically telling her, if you don't leave Diddy alone, it ain't gonna end well for you. So if you don't, hold on, y'all. Hold on, I gotta get you. So that happened. So she got fired, got a settlement, tried to get another job, couldn't get another job. And as a matter of fact, uh, Diddy told her, "I would make you." What she said? What he say? I would. She claimed Diddy said you would never work again, and I would make you. Well, she said that he would make me kill myself. Diddy told me I would never work again, and that he would make me kill myself. She said in 2016, no one else would hire me. Cassie had a new recorded deal with Epic. And so she signed on to work with Cassie. as her creative director. I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. They started talking about videos, Official Girl, super cute video, King of Hearts. Puff liked it. Cassie had it on the green wig. I believe. Let me see. And actually, um, Capricorn clock is the reason why Cassie even has a burner phone because apparently, um, Cassie was it seemed like Cassie was a little, I don't know, I can't speak to her state of mind. But Capricorn was like, she told Cassie, or she took Cassie to Best Buy or introduced the burner phone to her because the way she was moving, she was gonna get us all killed. Because Cassie even wanted to bring Kid Cudi with them, like to go on a hike. And Capricorn was like, "Girl, you crazy? Like, are you crazy?" So it kind of just sounds like Capricorn just kind of just got caught up in this mess. Because again, Cassie stated several times that these people were her family. She thought these people were her friends. And if these are all the people that you are around, they naturally know your business. It's all, you find you one home girl you can relate to and talk to. Cassie would also stay over her house sometimes. They had all moved to LA, but Cassie still stayed in New York. But when Cassie came from New York to LA, she would stay with Capricorn sometimes. So, like they just said, like that sister bond, you know what I'm saying? And it got real, real, real messy. I mean, even at one point in time, Diddy Capricorn said that Diddy said, "I should kill you itches and I should cut her face. I should cut her face." And so, a part of this, people, even online and whatnot, people were asking her why did she continuously try to come back, because she has even tried to work for Diddy as chief of staff as early as recent as 2024, April 20, barely a year ago. After this lawsuit was filed by Cassie, she wanted to work for Diddy. She had a meeting with Agnifilo, who's the one who cross-examined her today, Diddy, like head of Diddy's defense team. And they were talking about um a job. Then it had came up and crossed that she was allegedly told she couldn't get hired in the middle of this, in the middle of the investigation. And it was also stated that she allegedly said something to the effect of, if I was around, you Diddy wouldn't even be in this mess. And um apparently, um I guess her and Cassie, I don't know. People naturally have, bump heads sometimes with you being around people for a while, and even the best of friends sometimes get into it. But she was saying that Cassie's drug. So if you recall, the prosecutors are saying that, and Cassie said that the reason why her music career, a big part of that didn't take off, is because the freak-offs were a job. Diddy stifled her career. And the defense team has tried to disprove this um, rhetoric. And Capricorn stated that Cassie's drug use was preventing her from opportunities that were before us. She stated that Diddy gave Cassie more attention than any other artist from 2007 through 2010. And that at that time Diddy had like Machine Gun Kelly, French Montana, but Cassie was the one that was getting the bulk of the attention. Um, they was asking about Cassie's talent. And Capricorn, it's so interesting because it's kind of like Cassie. I mean, Capricorn was like a neutral witness, even though the prosecutors called her. They kind of shit to me. She threw the defense some bones, but ultimately it kind of really didn't mean that much today. But for her to be a prosecutor's witness, um, it was a bit shocking. Even the defense team were like, we didn't know that her testimony was going to be that negative. They literally said that in court while they were trying to sort out other um issues and so on and so forth. So Capricorn's testimony shocked a lot of people. I don't think people were expecting a woo wow or expecting to be gagged. Like she said several things that make you be. She said several things that made you go, bitch, what? Like if you was on the phone, bitch, huh? Bitch, what? Can you say that again? What happened now? Girl, I know you fucking lying. Girl, girl, you see what I'm saying? Like because a lot of these testimonies have been just redundant and oh my God, and oh Lord, how many times we gonna hear about baby boy? But her testimony kind of made you sit up like, she woke me up. I was taking a nap. CC woke me up. You know what I'm saying? But she also wrote Diddy a text, sent Diddy a text in June of 20. She sent Diddy a text in June of 2021 that read, um, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, because her and Cassie, you know, apparently I guess women just natural had like a little natural, I guess, tension or whatever. Um, I don't want to. Let's not talk about the 2021 text right now. Let me stick to this. But she said she sent Diddy a message that said, "I'm gonna just read all these messages that she sent Diddy." Um, she was never my friend. She wanted me gone. I realized. Sorry. She started crying. She said, "Sorry, this is complicated for me. I felt that I was supposed to protect her." So she was basically sending the messages, emails, or whatever to Diddy saying, you know, I felt I was the only one. She was still there, and things were getting worse. I tried to keep professionalism as the goal. So basically, Diddy remained, according to Capricorn, Diddy basically was still mad at her for for I guess assisting or covering up the cheating that Cassie did with Kid Cudi, and other people knew, but he wasn't fucking with her though. For some reason, he was not messing with Capricorn, even though everybody knew about everybody. A lot of other people knew about Kid Cudi and Cassie, and he had even, I guess, forgiven Cassie, but he left Capricorn out in the cold. So she like, damn, like, how you mad at everybody but me? Like, why you icing me out? Why you leaving me out? Right? Um. Then she wrote him another time saying, one day you'll forgive me. Anyway, be well. And then she said, your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed time, LOL. These are just things that she said to him over a period of time. And then she said one reason like why it hurt that he would take Cassie back but not her. She said, yes, I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. So she stated that her after she graduated, her parents died after a short time. And I'm not sure how her mother died or her daddy died. Let me see. They were asking her, why did you want to return to work with Diddy? Besides, like Diddy blacklisting her and she can't find another job or whatever, she was saying people could see I wasn't disposable. At this level of business, he held all the power. And I wanted to get my life back. And then in June of 2021, she texted Diddy and said, do you know I had the biggest crush on you before I started work with you? We hung out all the time. I just knew for sure you like to have me around. She said she didn't remember sending that. That's what Capricorn said. And she said she started back working with Cassie because, after she took that break because she was told she didn't have to work directly with Diddy or be in close proximity to him. So again, another round of I know it's wrong. I see it's wrong, but I'm just doing my job. And I get caught up in some bull crap that ain't got nothing to do with me. I done been threatened, been fired, hired. Oh, and I forgot this part. When she, I believe, quit, or she said she when one time when she one of the little times she quit, she got fired for 3 weeks. And the way that she got unfired was that she started helping planning his 35th birthday. And that she was in charge, I guess, of like the guest list or whatever. So she got fired, but showed back up to put her, to work on his birthday, his 35th birthday. She was also working on the voter die campaign. She was in charge of getting like the celebrities together to wear the shirts. Yeah, I know Diddy was real big in when the voter die campaign was here. But yeah, so it sounds like I mean, I don't know. I mean, even like her pictures of like how she used to look and then how she looks now. Obviously people age, that's fine, but it just kind of looks like she really, kind of done been through it. She spoke about developing hair loss, stress-induced alopecia. She and like an anxiety problem or whatnot, nervousness problem. I believe that's what she said, if I'm not mistaken. Like, as somebody who has had her bouts with anxiety, that stuff be all in your chest, and no matter what you do, it's right here. It's sitting right here. Like it's sitting right here. Like you can laugh and have a good time, but the anxiety is like it will never leave. And to carry all of that, you know what I'm saying? And she really felt like she was blacklisted and that she just could not and at one point in time, they were asking her, did she remember? So basically, Mark Agnifilo and Garagos or whatever, they were having a meeting with Clark previously. Remember, I said that, right? And during that conversation, they were asking her, well, how come you didn't or did you tell Cassie to leave that man? Like, girl, go about your business. You know what I'm saying? Find you another one. You know what I'm saying? You pretty, whatever. Girl, find you somebody else. She claims that this woman said Jay-Z was taken, and who was she dating? Now she didn't specify when this alleged conversation happened, but she said but Capricorn did say when she told Cassie, girl, go on somewhere, girl, go find you another man, girl, get you another, get you another man. You know what I'm saying? You pretty, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You still young. You know what I'm saying? You can have anybody you want, girl. Girl, why you crying over a nigga when it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Like, girl, what? girl, like we ain't crying, like what? You know what I'm saying? And she said, Cassie said Jay-Z was taken. Who should, who I'm gonna date? Huh, huh, baby. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Child. That's what Capricorn Plot said, the woman said now. So yeah, so I think like this has been the second most explosive um testimony. Daniel, I give him the third one. He was an escort that testified. And I will give him the third one because he was the first one to, because he went before Cassie. So he basically was talking about having sex, unprotected sex, or the ejaculate. Did he ask him, are you sure you came? Like you sure you show nigga? You sure you bust one? You know what I'm saying? But Cassie and Capricorn, um, I mean those two out of all of these witnesses, these two really stand out. And then also, the defense wants to strike the forensic psychologist, her whole testimony, because ultimately it's so generic. According to the defense, this woman is a professional witness, just going around giving generic testimony. So how can we take her testimony seriously? How can her testimony even be considered in this case when she's basically, according to the defense, is a professional witness and saying everything that she's saying the same thing in everybody's case. So she's saying the same thing, excuse me. How can we take her seriously if she's saying this, if she's pretty much a professional witness and is saying the same thing at everybody's trial? So now they want to move to strike her whole testimony. Dunn Hughes, I think that's her last name. So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't. The defense was not in the room with us today. They really, I think they tried, because most of the time, I mean, they do always have, they always have even me thinking, I mean, yeah, 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 but I mean, because that's what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to plant their little seed of doubt, even though we already know he beat her. I mean, even his defense has said that, um, he had a problem with domestic violence. Hell, he even apologized for the video, whatever, which I don't know why they never played that video in court, because I mean they didn't deny the claims that he beat her or anything like that. So why wouldn't they play an apology video? Whatever. But the point is, they normally do a good job of casting the doubt, even if you know it's true. Like Diddy's defense does a good job with having you looking at the sky, knowing that it's blue, but for somehow they're able to tell you that it's purple, and you can be looking at the sky, and you really not be looking at the sky for real, but you really are thinking like, I mean, I know it's blue, but maybe it is purple. And it's not purple. So they normally do a good job with that, but today they ain't even have no wiggle room. I guess they were just doing the best they can. But all right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's Janae of Crazy Crimes Verdict Watch, the Diddy Trial, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you tomorrow. Have a good night.